cutting time, all right? So, this is Memories, by the way, which is a very, very old one.
Beautiful.
Okay, so what you got to do when you go here, you decide on where you're going to cut it. Does everybody know what a node is in a plant?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're pruning, you cut above the node, okay? Not below the node. You have to cut above the node because that's where it's going to spring out and grow again. That node that you've cut up that never does really, it goes to the next one down. But anyway, so that's so I've got to drop this.
Joyce, how do you said when you decide where to make your cutting?
Yeah.
How do you decide?
Well,
Is
in
it
a
based
pot,
on just shape?
in a way, yes.
Yeah.
In a pot, you know, sort of I'd say that'd be about 5 inches, right?
Okay.
So that's about 5 inches, and you cut everything pretty much to that level.
Just to keep it tidy. And
Just go around, even if it's a little bit, you know. Sometimes you see like just a little bit like that. It's a pruning. All right, now I avoided this limb until last, okay? All of these limbs are going this way, right? Up here, that one's going out there. So what am I going to do with that limb? Am I going to prune it or cut it off?
cut it off.
And to cut it off, I can't leave anything. I've got to cut it as close as I can so it won't shoot again.
Do you mean as close to the soil?
No, as close as to where it's coming from. Yeah. Yeah, it is low. Yeah. But it was going in the wrong direction. We got another one here. It's not quite so bad, but it's where I've pruned it before. And you see it shooting, which you really don't want it to. So I've cut that off. So normally, when I've pruned my plants, I actually pop them on at the same time because I've already got the plant in my hand. I'm already doing it. So I would pot it on before it shoots. It always shoots anyway, so I don't worry about it. I just pot it on. It's got new potting mix. All right. So this potting mix in this pot's probably 12 months old, and it's used everything up that's in it. Potting mix doesn't last any more than 18 months. In fact, it's getting less and less because I got some potting mix. The last load I got, I am not happy with. It's got too much rubbish in it. So the potting mix.
Keep it in the same size pot, Joyce?
Yeah, you can put it exactly in the same size pot. So if anybody wants those afterwards, that is Memories. Now this one here, I've pruned from the garden, right? Now the name of this is Narendra Sunset. Who knows Meg Gaia? This is one of Meg's, okay?
Yep,
this
I've
is
got
Meg's
that, yeah.
plant.
I've got that one.
All right.
It's a nice
now
one.
I've got this in my garden, and it's a bush
Yeah.
like that,
It's huge, yeah.
and about that high.
Yeah. It's a big one, yeah.
And so I said it's a garden plant. It's not a pot plant. So I just pruned some off the bush to show you. This one is actually from the garden. Okay. But it's not as long as what it was. So now, from this now, we are going to take a cutting, right? I like my cuttings to be about 4 inches long, sort of, okay, depending on the node. Does everybody know what a node is? The node is where the where the leaf comes out or the flower comes out, is a node, all right? And that's where your roots come from. So when you're taking the cutting, you take it below the node, all right, because that's where the roots are going to come from. So I like my cuttings about 4 inches long or thereabouts, and you prune away the limbs. And I do all my everything except regals, I do in wash sand.
So you cut below the node.
That's where because your roots are going to come from the nodes you've left behind. Okay? Whereas when you prune, you cut above the node because that's where it's going to shoot new leaves. Okay? So this way it grows roots, that way it grows leaves.
Yeah.
Same node. Okay, and I just put it in the sand. Most times in this size pot, you can get 2 cuttings in a thing and put your name tag in on what it is. This time of year, 3 weeks, you should have root on it. And this one's the same, exactly the same. But I like nice cuttings like that. That one wasn't close enough. You get as close as you can. So that's except I never put 2 same sorts in the pot.
Joyce,
Yeah.
sometimes when you see people doing that sort of thing on TV, they only have a few leaves on
I
it.
know. Yeah.
So you recommend having more?
I like it to look exactly like that. To me is perfect. Absolutely. Your bush is there. That's going to grow. This is going to grow into limbs. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll have that one. Pass it here. I know.
Joyce, when is the best time?
Oh, I haven't done any cuttings at the moment because it's been too hot.
Thank you,
Okay.
Joyce. Thank you.
All right, so I'm starting now. Now I am going to start now. So, but I normally do. I mean, I've always got cuttings every time, all the time of the year. I'll find something. I'll do cutting of that. In the winter time, it probably takes till now to get roots. Now, this weather here, I can have roots on my cuttings in 7 days. All right, because what happens is when you've taken your cutting, and the way for you to find this out is to like I did. I kept looking. All right, you keep looking at it. You might kill this cutting, but at least you keep looking at it. When it first starts to want to take a root, normally there's a white ring comes around the whole of the perimeter of the cutting, right? That's the root forming. Now, doesn't necessarily branch everywhere. Sometimes you'll only get one root that'll start to grow, but it starts with that white ring. That's its very first thing it does. And sometimes you'll get one here and one this side, but not always. Sometimes you'll only get that one root. And so, and it's sort of, and I only learnt these things by looking at it all the time. I wanted to learn about it. If I didn't want to learn about it, I wouldn't know what happened. But I wanted to know what happened with it when you take the cutting, how it grew. All right? So that was through learning. Now this one here, this is actually rosebud gem, and I did these cuttings probably Christmas time or just after. No, it's just been sitting there. Anyway, it does have roots.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so as you can see, this one actually did roots all the way around the ring. You can see that there's roots that's formed right around that white ring that forms. And this one's done the same thing. So I've got a full set of roots on both of those plants, but sometimes you'll only have one, or maybe two. But your plant still grows the same and what have you. But I was lucky there, it had a full circle. So I didn't bring my mixture, I've got fertiliser already done in the soil because I figured it's only a cutting. So has anybody not seen me pot before? You put your chook poo down the bottom of the pot, right, where the roots go. But when you do these things, they're not really very deep. And so, as long as it's pressed in nicely, and I don't have enough potting mix there, so it's going to have sand for tonight. And you put the name in.
So you don't trim those roots off that little cutting?
These roots, I don't touch them. They're your roots. You don't cut your roots off. Unless it's this long. Well, if it's that long, it's been in there too long. It should only be about that long. You've left it there too long.
Things happen.
That bit of sand's only to make the plant firm. And then you put a label on it, but I didn't bring a label with me. But if anybody takes that, that's rosebud gem, it's already fertilised, all you've got to do is put a name on it. So anybody takes that. And these are for you to take afterwards. Okay? So that's my cutting.